Yo, YouTube, how's everyone doing? I'm feeling much better today. I think I'm going to go a bit more here because I'm not. Yeah, I think that's fine. Oh, Alexa, turn off main light.
Okay.
Right, this is the tone. Um, go. Right, I'm gonna go live. I think what topic are we doing today? What terrifies people? Right. Okay. Let's go. Topic. Okay. Topic today. How you spell it? I think so. Right. What terrifies people? That's the topic. Go. I think I need to change this color first. Alexa, change LED to purple.
Okay.
Alexa, LED on brightest.
I don't know how to set room LED.
Okay, it's fine. Okay, so what terrifies people? That's gonna be the topic of today, and we're just gonna see what we get. I guess it's very hot in here. Right. Firstly, before we start, I need to go get some water. So I'm going to. Oh, I'm going to. I'm gonna put a text box. Where's the text box? There is no text box. Okay, there we go. Um. I'll be back. Why is it? What the flip is that? Yeah, okay, I'll be back. I'm back. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, I'm back. Um, Can't get rid of this text box. Remove. Okay. Okay. What terrifies people? I feel like with this, we're gonna actually get rid of every single type of assumption that anybody has. So, we're talking about what terrifies people. We're actually gonna talk about what genuinely terrifies people, not this bullshit of this boogeyman fake. No, we're really gonna dissect exactly what terrifies people, and that's how we're gonna that's how we're gonna come with a final statement. All right. Okay, let's go. And let me get Chrome ready. All right, boom. That's not the one I'm looking for. Looking for mine. Get rid of this. There we go. All right, come. Whiteboard. Let me get rid of this first. Give me 1 second. Second of this. All right, whiteboard's ready. Wait, is this still here? Oh, the text box is still here. Oh, okay. Let me get rid of this. Text input mode. Manual. Okay. All right, that's fine. Everyone can see. Okay. What terrifies people? All right. By the way, don't be scared. This isn't back to secondary school. What we're doing, right, is we're basically going through different types of topics. And I'm literally using just intuition to try come up with like an answer or a final statement. Okay. Let me. I don't know if I should. All right. I'll leave like this. Okay. I was trying to increase my my cam, right? I think I might do something different later. I think I might start making my cam more horizontal. It just gives a different look to it, and I'm just gonna make this here as well. Okay, what terrifies people? All right. To terrify is to go beyond just simply scaring someone. Right? You can scare someone, and then you can terrify someone. Right? I think terrify is like an exaggerated scare, or like it's like scaring someone, but just doing that over a longer period of time. That's terrifying. So I think terrifying is kind of like scaring, but it's just a longer duration. So it just lasts longer. So you're just constantly scared about this particular thing, right? So the things that keep you in a constant state of fear, those are the things that terrify you. Okay, that's like the start. Okay. So things that keep you or people in a constant state of fear. Okay, these are the things that terrify people, right? Right? Or am I wrong? Hopefully, I'm not wrong. But we'll see, because we're gonna make sure we compare whatever I say to what is actually out there. Okay, so things that keep people in a constant state of fear. Now let's have some examples. This is just the start. Okay, we don't know if this is right or wrong. This is just a start. We're gonna make sure we stress test this. Okay. All right. Examples. What would you say is something, or generally speaking, right, that you'd say a lot of people experience that terrifies them? You know? For like, yeah. That keeps them scared for a long period of time. I don't know. Would you say I was gonna go with death, but I don't know if death like keeps people scared for a long time. I think a lot of the times everybody has a fear of death, but not necessarily terrified of it. I think there's only like a handful of people that are terrified of it because it's inevitable. So it's like it's not something that would actually it could be. It could be. We'll leave it here for now. What else? What else terrifies people? That's like the main one because it's like death is like the end of the countdown. Everyone has a countdown till this. But something less, obvious than death. Something that's felt by a lot of people, right? But it's not death because death is like, I would say it's basic. Obviously, I think a lot of things actually stem from the fear of death, right? But for me personally, I don't fear death necessarily because I think it's inevitable. So that doesn't really terrify me. I know that what's the point of being scared of something that I can't control? Is when it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. So you can't control it. Why be scared of it, right? I think what terrifies people the most is like the things that they can't control. So let's just put another category here. Okay, what are examples of things? Actually, let me use a text box. Okay. All right. What are examples of what the of things that terrify people, but are less. Okay, let's go from here. Less obvious than death. What would it be? Fear of failure, but that's more of a fear rather than something terrifying. Um, I think a lot of things that I'm thinking to do with terrifying comes from fear, and I already spoke about fear. What did I actually say about fear? Now I'm forgetting. Okay, let's actually. I think this is just a building up on fear, so we can genuinely go to the Discord and see what I said on fear. Let's see what I said on fear. I'll actually put this. Okay, what did I say on fear? It's emotions. Okay, all right. So fear is a negative emotion. It comes from involuntary. It comes involuntarily to the human psyche in order to signal a particular problem. Some signals are valid, some are not. The moments after said signals, the most important, as fear is an opportunity to make the correct choice in order to suppress it or allow it to consume you. Okay, so it's more like a feeling, right? It's more like a snappy feeling, but this is a prolonged sense of fear. So that means something terrifying is the point where you let fear consume you and sort of keep affecting you. When you let fear just constantly affect you, I'll just say that. So it's um when you let fear constantly affect you. Right. That's what it is. Okay. Now, what are examples of these but are less obvious than death? I would say it's probably situational, right? So let's say, for instance, you just finished the license and you're trying to get a job, but it's like the job market is very terrible, right? I think you'll be not being able to get to what you want. That could actually be a not being able to get what you want could actually be a overview of everything that stems from that. So we can just put that there, right? So not being, or maybe not what you want, but what you need. Able, I think something terrifying comes more from a need than a want. Able to get what you need, right? So if you did a license, you need a job because you need to be paid and it's for something else. Everything you need relates back to something more like, should I say human? Like people might be like, oh, I need money, but no, you don't need money. You're trying to use money to get you something, a particular feeling or a particular sense of comfort or this and this. That's when you're less agitated. So being in a position right, of need is sort of the catalyst for fear or for something terrifying, right? A lack, maybe it's a lack of something. Being in need of something, right, makes people terrified. So, a constant state of not being able to get what you need, right? Because when you need something, like you kind of need it. What is a need? Is it something you can't live without? Would I go that far? Yeah, because a want is something you can't live without, but like you just want it. So something you can't need is something you can't live without. Okay. Okay. All right. So when we look at what are people terrified, what terrifies people, right? The things that terrify people are, well, to be terrified is the things that keep people in a constant state of fear, right? And when you let fear constantly affect you, right? So I guess these are both the same things. All right, death. Wait, give me 1 second. Okay, let's continue. Why is this actually here? I don't like these being here. Need to. Yeah, it's fine. Um. Right. Let me put the few. What? Okay, I think that's better. All right. So when you, all right, let me actually get back. Where was I? Okay, what terrifies people? Okay, things that keep people in a constant state of fear. All right, example, death. All right. Um, less obvious than death would be not being able to get what you want or what you need. You need something you can't live without, right? Something you can't live without. So, what are those needs? Obviously, other than like life, right? What when you don't have it would terrify people? I think I said something about money, right? But money is like, okay, let's just say money. But what does money allow you to get though? Would I say freedom? Peace, a little. Um, chance to. There's gonna be a lot of noise, so just bear with me. Hopefully it goes down. But I can't soundproof this room, so there's gonna be noise. Um. Anyway, back to yeah, I don't have a mic. That's the thing, because the mic that I have picks up everything. Picks up everything. So I do need to get that mic. Actually, I might get it now. What mics are good? I know Rode is good, but a lot of them expensive. Rode mic. What a nice mic. Mm. Hmm. Mm. Yeah, they're all about 200. So I'm not getting that right now. No, 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 no. Yeah, no, I'm not getting that right now. Um, I have to think about that one. I have to check the budget. Okay, so um, I wouldn't say freedom. I wouldn't say peace. Right? I'll say a sense of peace. Like depends on. I guess the amount depends on your tolerance level, right? So I would say instead of free, I'll say a sense of freedom, right? Because you're not trying to be a slave to money, right? That's not what we're trying to do, and it's also a sense of peace, like an assurance, right? So you're not like restless, and then I'll be the last one of I think the last one is more like in your ability to do, to do something. You have resources. So what is that like? Would I say ability to help, right? Or just to provide? Maybe that's better to provide because everything we do is through transactions. So, right, right. So money, like everyone says, like everyone quotes all of these needs with money, right? Like instead of going straight to one of them, it's like, oh, I need money. So this sense of freedom, this can terrify people. Like once your freedom is taken, and that could be something that isn't solved with money. So it's not always about money. I think people just code it in this, right? So sort of like your freedom being gone, like that can put people in a constant state of fear. So that's terrifying, right? For your freedom to be gone, right? So your autonomy to just do as you please, within your rights, obviously, within the rules, right? That's taken away from you. That's terrifying. Okay, right? Peace. Once your peace is gone, it's like you're, you know. Well, I wouldn't say it's terrifying, right? Peace. I wouldn't say it's terrifying, but it's more like annoying and aggravating. So it wouldn't be something that would keep you in a constant state of fear. If you want to get exaggerated, right, we can say like torture or something like that. Everyone is terrified of this. Terrified. And this can come in multiple ways: psychological, physical, everything. Everyone's terrified of this. Not just this, not just the action, right? But who it turns you into. You know? Not just the action, but who it turns you into. Alright. So freedom is definitely one. Like once your freedom is swept away from you, can't even imagine. Like imagine being that, that person that went to North Korea and did something messed up. Not messed up, but he made a mistake, and then they just sort of kept him there in their labor camp, and like he died after 2 years. Like that would be terrifying, right? Or being on the precipice towards oh yeah, the possibility that your freedom might get taken away. Like, I think he's more terrified, right? The moments before he's sentenced rather than actually in the sentencing. Because like that is crazy. 1 minute you're in a good position, next minute, boom, it's gone. I could actually drag this further into like how to deal with terror, but I think it's just a case by case situation. You can't read, like, it's like, how do you still remain sane when something terrifying happens? How? And I listed a bunch of stuff here, but a lot of them, they're not really things that causes like terror or for you to be terrified. Oh, another one is like we can have natural disasters, because I think that's another thing of the terror of death. Like a natural disaster could be that loss of everything, to lose everything, right? Losing everything. Yeah, I think that's a good one. Like, I think there's a constant state of terror in terms of like a failing business. It's like you want to keep it afloat, because if you lose everything, you lose everything. And like, it's not just about the money, but about the system and the thing you built yourself. Because when it's gone, it's gone. When it's gone, it's gone. So these are the types of things that would make people terrified, right? It's different from fear. Okay, fear is like it's like a we how do you hear? It's like an impulse. It sends a message to your brain, and then it's like yeah, it's like a message or a notification for like in reaction to something, right? External, you know? But terror is like just that constant state of being overwhelmed by fear. So losing everything is something that can cause terror, because like I think from here, yo, I made these so massive, bro. I don't know how to take it. I don't know how to take it back. It's fine. I made it so huge. I can't zoom any further up. But it's fine. 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 Okay. So losing everything, right? Like that could be very terrifying, right? Let's say even in terms of like your job, or like something you worked on for a long time just didn't work out. It's like, what do you do now? The terror doesn't come from it not working out, but the terror comes from you not trusting yourself to do something else that's gonna work out. So you're terrified because it's like your freedom to express yourself, like your I don't know what the word is, but it's like I think I won't say losing confidence is a cause of terror. I would say being terrified. I know. I'll say losing confidence is a symptom of being terrified. You know, being less hopeful. So I'll say terror is like the terror makes terror like is the thing that makes hope decline. Right? You know, terror like okay. So when hope falls, terrorizes basically. Right? So I think they might be side by side. Not like they're opposites, but it's like If you're more hopeful, you're less terrified, right? Hope gives you a solution to terror. It's a belief that the thing causing the terror that will subside and you will get that thing you need. So as hope goes down, terror goes up, and it's the same way. As hope comes up, terror sort of goes down more and more, you know? But let's go back to the prompt. What was the prompt? It was, what terrifies people? That's all. What terrifies people? So I think these are where you get it. These, like, loss of freedom. Say it, loss of freedom, losing everything. Will I say just the fear of loss is terrifying? Or can I just say loss? Ooh, actually, we could take this. We could make this better, right? Loss. The worst one is death. Yeah, this could be. Oh, damn. Worst one is death, but if you go more, it's like job, right? Money, right? Right. This can be your death or death of a loved one, right? Loss of sort of everything, or like continued loss. Like this is terrifying. This is terrifying. I think loss. I mean, every bad thing could be attributed to loss. If a bad thing happens, that means you lost something good. You know. So yeah, I guess so. You know, like so also a loss of money, loss of everything, a need for something you can't live without, right? Yeah, it's like loss of lack of something. Yeah, it's two parts. To lose something or inability to gain something necessary. Inability to gain SMTN something necessary. NECESSARY. Right? So, like, the things that terrify people is literally just loss, right? Death is like the most terrifying one. Like, not necessarily your death, but like the death of a loved one. Like, that is the worst type of loss. Okay? And then there are other ones in terms of like you losing someone, like in a relationship or something, you losing a very good friend because of like a bad situation. You know, or someone, mm, you know? And then other things like your, like, inability to have freedom, get the things you need. That is terrifying. Okay, maybe at some point I'm gonna talk about how to deal with terror, or how to deal with being in a oh how to deal with being terrified. Maybe I'll talk about that later, right? But things that are terrifying is just like things that just keep you in a constant state of fear, right? So to deal with it is just to sort of, I think, yeah, as I said, it's a case by case scenario. And we're not going into that today. So yeah. So this was fine. I have like 5 more minutes to think about more about. But this is okay. Maybe I'm still sick. It's okay. Now make a statement. Okay. Where am I? All right. What terrifies people? what I should do is just like put. Actually, that might not work. If I put music on, it's gonna be copyright. But hopefully you can hear what's happening downstairs. Yeah, but I can see the mic's picking it up. One sec. I think I think I should schedule the time for well, I do schedule for 9, but it's just very loud, you know. And streaming is like it's all live, so mm, it's all live. Anyway, let me finish with this statement. So the things that terrify people are oh, in a constant state of fear are what? Them. The fear of loss or loss itself. Mm, what terrifies people the most? Should I say that? The thing that terrifies people, keep people in a constant state of fear, or what terrifies them. The fear of loss or loss itself are the harshest, or the most terrifying. It's the most terrifying. This is because no, either because they don't want to lose something. See, if the worst is being death, right? Loss itself is the most terrifying thing. Being death. People lose something that they feel like they need. When people are in loss of a need, actually, how do I say this? Okay, things that keep people in constant state of fear are what terrifies them. Loss itself is the most terrifying thing, with the worst of loss being death. Right? When people are incapable of acquiring what they need to live or providing but I think this last sentence is very specific though. How do I tie this specific one into like a general thing? I don't know. So things that keep people in a constant state of fear are what terrifies them. Loss itself is the most terrifying thing, with the worst of this, with the worst of loss being death, when people are unable to acquire what they need to live, right? Or providing it for someone they love. This also terrifies them. Is that okay? It's just like just the incapability to do something. Suppression of freedom in some way. And I think sort of things that I think a lot of these sort of, I guess, emotions or feelings are like they can be sort of changed and bobbed and weaved into different like categories or different ones. Like terrifying is very close to fear, this and that and that. But I think based on how long I had, I think this is the best I could come up with. And yeah, so for now, let's go. Let's go. See what else people have. Okay, what terrifies people? The unknown, death, and losing control, according to physiological research and common phobias. Right, death. I think that one is like the one I specified. Right, list of phobias. It's phobia is just like to be afraid of something. Let me search. What's the difference between terrifying, terror, and fear? What is the difference? Terror and fear. Our fear is rational response to a specific known threat or triggering action like running or fighting. Terror is an extreme, overwhelming, or irrational form of fear. So extreme, overwhelming, or rational form of fear are characterized by intense dread, freezing in place, or panic, and is often experienced before or in anticipation of a danger. So before danger or I think this one is where I was trying to get to, but I just didn't get to. So it's like in anticipation of a danger, right? So that like waiting time. That's what I actually said the thing about the guy that went to like North Korea, right? Is that like court session? That's the most terrifying because you're anticipating the worst possible thing. So that's where the terror is, not when you're actually there. The terror is like that waiting period of the unknown, right? Like what it said here. Let me duplicate this first and then go back. Right, the unknown, right? That unknown, that's where terror actually happens. It's like, okay, what's gonna happen next? Like you're in a bad spot, anticipating the worst, but you don't know what could happen. So like that's the thing with like the hope going down and terror going up. Is like you're less hopeful as you're coming closer to the final decision. So the terrifying how terrifying it gets worse just but within that space of known to unknown. Sorry, within that space of like um you realize something is gonna happen till it actually happens. That's when terror exists. That's where terror exists. You know? Intensity. Fear is general emotional response, while terror is heightened extreme state of being scared, right? So an extreme state of being scared out of your wits. I said it's like a prolonged state of fear. reaction. Fear often prepares the body for action, fight or flight, while terror frequently causes inaction, such as freezing or overwhelming panic. Right? So dealing with terror is kind of like trying to get out of this state, this overwhelming panic or freezing. You have to just keep going, you know? But we're not talking about dealing with fear right now. We're just talking about, no, sorry. We're not talking about dealing with terror right now. We're talking about terror itself. It's in amazement, fear, and terror. What? Why would amazement be here? That makes no sense. That's just a weird question. What is the difference between fear and terror? Let me see what Reddit says. Fear is scaven ambush. Terror is noctilus. Okay, I don't know what that is talking about. Terror makes enemies break at about 15 more morale rather than at 0. Terror doesn't last forever. What is okay? All right, and there's nothing else. All right. Fear is a constant ability that lowers enemy morale. The unit is engaged, while terror is one-time big hit to morale when the unit okay. Right, I don't know what the flip you're talking about. Horror versus terror. I think a lot of things in terror talks about horror like something that people misinterpret. Yeah, they don't misinterpret fear and terror. It's like there's a big divide, but it's related. But I think people misinterpret horror and terror or something like that. That's why it's there. Understanding feelings of fear, psychology of scary movies, dread versus terror versus horror. Actually, dread is one. What is dread? Because it's related to terror. Strong feeling of fear, anxiety, or apprehension about something unpleasant that is anticipated to happen in the future. Yeah, I think this is the one of more. Dread is the one, like, it's kind of like terror, but more like anticipating the future. But I kind of wrote terror in as dread. Anticipate with great apprehension or fear. Right, but I think I maybe have mistaken this. Let me copy this and put it into ChatGPT and see how it classifies this. Okay, what would you rate this statement on what terrifies people? Obviously, this is gonna kiss your ass. Yeah, 7. Okay, yeah, 7 out of 10. All right. Correctly connect fear to loss, psychological solid. Yeah, but okay, but how would you fix it? Um. Oh, there's a Polish version. What truly terrifies people is loss. Right? The greatest loss is death, but fear also arises when individuals are unable to obtain what they need to survive or provide for those they love. I don't care about the original. Okay. People fear loss above all else. No, like there's a separation between terror and fear. Okay, I will argue that there. Why am I arguing with a flipping? It's fine. There is a separation between loss and no, between terror and fear, which is why I wrote it the way I did. You missed this. Ah. Terror is what produces sustained fear. Okay. Okay, terror is not fear itself, but what sustains it, right? Loss is the most terrifying force, But death is an ultimate form. Likewise, the inability to secure one's survival will provide for those one loves becomes a source of enduring fear. Obviously, I'm not gonna take advice from ChatGPT, right? Where I'm not gonna. It's just a robot. But I think this is okay. It's okay. I sort of described it in terms of how it can be characterized to fear. How terror can be characterized to fear. So I think this is okay, right? This is what I'm gonna put on the Discord. I'm actually lacking a couple days behind on Discord, but I'll make that time up. And if anybody wants to mod, they can be they can be doing that. But yeah, I need to put this on the Discord and make sure everything is like up to date and all that. Right. So I'm actually gonna do it on stream to make sure everything's fine. I think I'll go. Is Terror an emotion? I think it is. Yeah, it is. So I'll make a new post. What terrifies people? Send a message. All right, so that's there. All right, and then tomorrow would be how hard is it to be humble? That's for tomorrow. Okay, so was this here the whole time? All right, so no matter what, we just continue going. I was sick for those 2 days, and I still uploaded. But all my days, like the second day was like the worst time. I was just watching videos. I don't like that, but I don't know what else to do on Twitch when I'm sick, because I couldn't think about anything. Cause I would just be, you know. So that's all for the day, and peace.